Okay. Where was Tonita from?
And Tonita was from Puerto Rico.
And then where did she live? Okay. Where did she live?
She lived in Puerto Rico.
After that, where did she go?
She moved to the United States.
Okay. Where?
All right, let me think about this. It had to be the 70s, like early to mid 70s. When I knew her, she was old and frail. She had long hair that was like up in a bun, tied up in a bun, and she just wore like, you know, long dresses and robe kind of clothes. Really, probably to stay warm. It was kind of drafty, and their apartment was all hardwood kind of floors and big windows all around in New York City. It just wasn't a warm, cozy environment, so I'm guessing she just was bundled up because she was old and frail. I do not believe she had any form of transportation outside of mass transit, so she never left the city. And she had a lot of obligations in the city, having lived there all her life and being connected with the community. I do remember when we would visit, people would just stop by looking for something or for her, or, you know, so I don't believe it was easy for her to ever get away. I remember at her funeral, there were a lot of people there who were, you know, just talking about how they couldn't live without her kind of thing. And, you know, she was just a staple in the community. She met a man that she fell in love with when she lived in Puerto Rico as a young girl from a wealthy family. And her father objected to the man she loved, but she still married him. And they left Puerto Rico and came to New York City and had 4 children.
How did that marriage fall apart?
I don't know. Don't know, other than, you know, he left her. And, you know, she was there on her own, trying to raise a family of 4 and finding herself in, you know, difficult straits. Through hardship and circumstances in her life, a divorce, leaving her with children and no husband, someone shared with her, well, they reached out to meet her need, actually, help her and her family get on their feet. So through that ministry of that church, she came to faith in God, and in that time, I believe it really just changed her life, the course and direction of her life. So much so that she became a minister in that church. So she later met another man. I don't know if his first name was Suit or his last name was Suit, but everybody called him Suit. So he was a pastor. So when she married him, they had 1 son. And one thing I remember she said to me one time was, I don't even know how I understood it, because she primarily spoke Spanish, but maybe some broken English, and I don't know if my father was interpreting. Somebody helped me understand that she told me she would wake up at, like, you know, 3 or 4 in the morning and go downstairs to her storefront church and pray for, like, you know, her church members and the people in the community and her family. And she just, I do remember seeing her tell me that story and just like marveling, like, who does that? What is that all about? You know, I was just like, why would you do that? You know, I just didn't understand anything about prayer or, you know, her life really just seemed so foreign to anything I knew or understood at that time. So that really impacted me, thinking like, wow, she is a pastor and she gets up in the morning and prays for people at the crack of dawn for hours. But that was her routine. She said she did that every day. So, yeah. We went back to visit Tonita at some point after that. I don't know how long it was. It might have been a month or two. It could have been, a little bit later. But I do remember my mother telling Tonita that she and my sister both prayed to receive Christ. And Tonita was so excited. I mean, I remember her telling my mother that she was praying for her and our family to come to know Christ. And before that point, I mean, we just didn't understand it or care. If Tonita was here in front of me today, I would probably thank her for her. I understood that she had a really rich prayer life and that she prayed for her family. And I feel like, in a lot of ways, those prayers were answered because of just the path and direction that my family life took. Especially in those years. There was a lot going on. A lot of strain on my parents' marriage because of finances and work and, just all the things that affect every family. But I just feel like there was this big shift that happened. And so, I mean, I think that we're kind of fruit of that, of her prayers, all these years later, That's probably the most direct understanding of a relationship I have with her, being as young as I was and as old as she was. And, so I would probably just thank her, like, wow, thanks for praying for us. And Tonita's my great-grandmother.
What do you call her? Aunt Tonita?
I don't call her. Oh, her full name is Tonita.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was just Tonita.
Tonita is short for
I thought she was your
Tonita.
aunt. Wait.
No, she is my great-grandmother.
But you calling her Aunt Tonita.
No, Tonita is her full name.